get this thing going here. You'd think I'd have this figured out by now. It's been like a month since I've been doing these live streams. So welcome in. It's a weekend. It's Friday. What are our plans? What are your plans this weekend? Are you going to stay sober? Are you hoping to stay sober? I'll talk a little bit about what my plans are this weekend. Some of the things that I used to do when I used to drink a lot, and some of the ways that I cope with life as a non-drinker, and how impactful it is to be able to be successful in sobriety, and how much better life is and easier things come when we don't drink, uh, and we cope with life as it comes. And it's so important to be able to do that. A lot of times when we quit drinking, we quit cold turkey. We don't have a plan. We don't have a community. We try to do it with willpower. How many of us try to quit drinking with willpower? Say I. I mean, I usually went like a week without drinking in my drinking days, and that was usually because I had a hangover. And usually I wouldn't be able to do it much longer than a week because I was doing it with sheer willpower. Um, I wasn't, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan of attack. I really just knew that I wanted to feel better. So I was able to kind of go like a week without drinking. And then I wasn't able to go any longer. So this weekend coming up, I've got a little bit of I got to work tomorrow, so really that's not a big issue. But Sunday, going out to my mom's house, we're going to celebrate my daughter's birthday. And typically in the past, that would be an occasion where I would use alcohol. Being that it's a Sunday, I'm not working, and that would just give me free reign to just drink all day. And so I had to work Monday, big deal. Typically, I would just drink beer after beer after beer, and that really wasn't copacetic to a healthy lifestyle. I wasn't able to function properly. I was hungover. I felt miserable. I felt, lethargic, and I just felt overall. Uh, how you doing, Hannah? Thank you so much. Um, yeah, I just felt miserable pretty much every single day until I had alcohol in my system. And man, that was just a nasty way of going about my life. But you know what? I mean, I leaned on alcohol for so long that it just became normal. Um, hey, thanks. Welcome, TNT. Pontiac, nice. Yep. So I just felt terrible, and I didn't really care. Yes, I'm married. um, but welcome, Jaden. So yeah, I felt miserable. I used it. It didn't matter. The benefits of alcohol um, outweighed the bad parts of drinking. You know what I mean? It was like um, the buzz and getting wasted outdid the hangover, the anxiety, the indigestion, all the things that come along with drinking, drinking a lot. I wasn't like a one or two kind of a drinker, man. I was all in, and I put myself in these positions where it was like uh, there was no way out. And I used to look at my drinking like it was like a habit, something that I could take it or leave it, you know. And when I got some distance from drinking, I started to realize that it was more than a habit. I mean, it was full blown addiction. It wasn't some little habit, something that I could take or leave. It was serious. And when you're in that cycle, you can't see it. You can't really be honest with yourself about that or pretty much anything else in general. Um, and so getting a little bit of a distance from the alcohol really was something that I was looking to do at the beginning of my sobriety. I wanted to find because the thing is, when I was a binge drinker, pretty much in my teenage years and my 20s, I drink every other day. Um, I would drink so much that then the next day I didn't want any alcohol, and I would have these days where I wouldn't feel very good really until the afternoon. I mean, I was able to function, I was able to go to work, I was able to do all these things, but I wasn't I wasn't functioning the way that I should have, not optimally. You know what I mean? I was foggy. You know, you got brain fog. I was like, I had, like I said, indigestion a lot of times, but not all the time. But for sure, hangovers. I mean, I would counter that with ibuprofen. And TNT says, my dad took drinking to heart literally until it killed him from a heart attack 2 months after his 50th birthday. Wow, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I was afraid that might happen to me. That's kind of where I was with it. I was in my upper 30s when I really started to question my drinking and the role that alcohol played in my life. I wasn't able to quit right away. I mean, things happened, one thing after another kind of led me to sobriety, but it took me like 3 years of really kind of wanting to be done, but just not finding the right time, the right tools, the right things. But the biggest thing that happened in 2017 for me was that I lost my job, and I was out of work for almost a year, and I struggled to find work, and that was really the first my first clue because my drinking accelerated. I mean, I was healthy for the most part, other than my drinking, because I had time to like walk more, ride my bike more, meditate more, do all these things but the alcohol always undid all of that. You know what I mean? So you might see benefits in your life, but if alcohol is still present in your life, it's always going to be an issue. And so, but the number two thing that happened at that time was that I had a childhood friend, and he died. He was like 38. He had a 10-year-old son, and he died, and I didn't know why. I mean, I we were Facebook friends, but I didn't really keep in touch with him. But I found out a couple weeks later that he drank himself to death in his parents' basement. At least that's what I heard, and it was just kind of like, I mean, I it was weird because I was shopping at another town that I used to live in, and I went there because I it wasn't going to be as busy as our closer one. So I went there and I ran into an ex-girlfriend, and it was just like, what? And so we got to talking, and I asked her, I said something about so and so who passed away, and she said, "Yeah, did you hear?" And I said, "No, what happened?" She said, "Yeah, he drank himself to death." And thank you. Yeah, I'll be praying for you too, man. Are you drinking? Are you sober? Are you looking to get sober? Um, yeah, it's just an insidious type of thing, man. You know, it doesn't seem like it is when we're drinking, but I always kind of knew that it was like, you know, I always kind of put it in like I felt like I had the devil in me, especially at the end of my drinking days, the last couple years, 3 years, 4 years. I mean, it was like I was angry all the time. Um, my older girls, our oldest girls, were in their teenage years, and that's a struggle on its own. Like I said, I lost my job for almost a year in 2017. That really didn't help. And just I leaned on alcohol to cope with all these things. But yeah, when that childhood friend of mine passed away, and I heard that he drank himself to death, and having a child of his own, I kind of looked at my life and I was like, man, my daughter. our youngest is, well, when I really started to question my drinking was like one or two. And and I'm like, man, I can't. When she starts to be able to see what I'm doing in my life, and drinking overtakes everything, it's more important than anything. When she starts to recognize that my drinking is that important to me, and how I behave when I drink, and how I behave when I'm hungover from drinking, um, man, it's like I don't want that. But at the same time, I mean, I'm living my own life, so it's got to happen like on my terms. It's not something where I got in trouble. I had health issues. Yes, I had minimally health issues. Some anxiety. Well, a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of what if thinking. A lot of uh, indigestion, headaches, those kinds of things, but nothing serious. And then with the trouble that I got into with alcohol, I got in trouble with it like legally in trouble with it years ago, in my late teenage years and early 20s is really when I went through the legal issues with drinking. But now, being in my 30s and being married and being a father, that was really when things really started to be noticeable for my drinking. So you drink wine every now and then. Stopped drinking hard liquor 6 years ago because you started having stomach issues. You picked up heavy drinking after your dad died and went with tequila. 8 years straight. Good for you. That's awesome. If you can do that, then more power to you. I mean, I wasn't someone who could drink at all and then not drink more and more and more anyway. And in fact, that's what really got me into trouble. I was mainly a beer drinker, and I would drink 10, 20 beers, whatever. It just depended on the day, the situation, stuff like that. If I had to work and all that, if I had responsibilities, I might start later in the day if I had to drive my kids somewhere or whatever. But yeah, depending on the day, I could be like a 12 beers to almost a case in a day. But at the beginning of the pandemic was really eye opening for me because I started to drink more first and foremost, but start to drink earlier and earlier in the day. And, so I was drinking from like noon on for the rest of the day. And I didn't have to worry about driving. I didn't have to worry about any of the responsibilities that normally would take place because we weren't doing anything. But with that, a thing that I used to use with alcohol in tandem was like watching sports, watching movies, things like that. So I would just like to zone out and drink and watch movies or sports. But there wasn't really much sports, many movies and things like that because stuff wasn't being made and sports were on hold. So I started to kind of drink, and I would be in the middle of the day, uh, starting to get into the evening, and I'd be sitting there like, "Is this all there is? Like, this is boring." Um, there's got to be more to life than this, and that was really eye opening to me. But the thing was, I started to drink hard liquor at the end of my binge drinking day, and that never boded well. It never worked out well. Uh, even in my like low drinking days, if I'd mix, I was sick. You know what I mean? And especially if it was a lot of hard liquor. So I would get into the cabinet and I would drink like maybe 2 or 3 shots of vodka, something like that, and or drink like whiskey. I stopped buying whiskey because that was what I liked hard liquor wise, like bourbon. But man, I started to, yeah, I started to do that at the end of my binge drink day at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I would be sick the next day, and I would not drink that next day. I'd take a day off, but then the bender would start back over the next day, and I would drink like 4, 5, 6 days of beer in a row. I'd get to that day, and I'd be like, I need more. Like I need to. I just need more of an escape, more of something to ease my mind. Even though I knew that wasn't helping the situation, it was helping me wash away everything, and that's really what I was ultimately looking for. So I would do those shots. Sometimes it was two or three, but sometimes I'd mix it and I'd drink like more than that, three, four, five shots mixed, and just the next day I was just sick. So I would do that, and then I'd take a day off, and then I would start my bender over like for five or 6 days again in a row. And I did that for about 6 weeks, and I watched the bottles and cans accumulate in our garage. And being that you're from Michigan too, you know that we take our cans and bottles back. And during the pandemic, we couldn't do that because they were all shut down. And I had watched the bags of returnables just pile up in my garage. And every time I would take those cans and bottles out and look at the pile, I just thought, man, that's just going into my body. Like this can't be good. And as much as I tried to control my drinking, it just wasn't happening. So I was able to find. So I kind of made this topic today about, well, how we're going to handle like our weekend and try to not drink. And the first and foremost goal is, let's not um, go drink without a plan or thinking about like what how alcohol is making us feel. Um, yeah, mixing it with other things, watering it down, or mixing it with liquor with like juice and stuff. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just. It's all bad. I mean, it really, all alcohol, all these beers and wines is, and I learned this kind of after I quit drinking, but it's all different flavors, but it's all one thing. It's we're masking the alcohol that's in it. So regardless of if we're like having a drink of alcohol and then having a glass of water and then back and forth, I hear people do like intervals and stuff like that to help with hangovers and stuff like that. But the point is that you're putting alcohol in your system, and it's a toxin, and our bodies don't want it. It wants to push it out. So that's what it does. And that's what that leaves us with: bad feelings, lethargic feelings, sluggishness, headaches, irritability, all those things that alcohol causes. Yeah, it just leads us to all that. So my whole thing is have a plan of action. Kind of think about, uh, how does this drink make me feel? Like, how am I feeling after one? How am I feeling after two? And so on. And really kind of notice how you're feeling. Like, do you really, is it good? Is it um, not good? Is it, how are you handling? And don't do this at like a party or an event or somewhere where you would normally drink, like somewhere where you are excited or happy or because the alcohol isn't making us happy in those situations. It's just the situation that's making us happy. So sitting in like a place that you would normally do your drinking. For me, that was at home. It was in my living room. It was on my deck. It was whatever, but it was just me drinking, and that would be where I would sit and I would drink one or two and think about like, do I like this feeling? And of course, when you're drinking, the answer is going to be, yeah, I like it. I mean, I I used to like going to the bar, having a couple like strong drinks, taking a walk somewhere, or going to the park and playing on the play structure with my daughter or something like that. Having that buzz outside, it's warm, it's breezy, it's enjoyable, and it enhanced that day. Um, but and by the time I would get in the car to drive back home or whatever, like it was, I wasn't feeling like as buzzed or whatever. So, but then I would go home and just drink all the rest of the day, and that's not good either. So my whole thing was like, if you're gonna drink, excuse me, have like a plan of action. uh, Michigan folks do drink. I mean, I grew up in the lakes area, and uh, like lake life is real, man. It's all those lakes over there, in Pontiac, you know where that's at. It's the Commerce, Union Lake, Pontiac Lake, all that whole area over there, man. It's like, yep, just go drink and go out on the boat, go to the sandbar, and just drink and party and have a good time. And man, just glad to be out of that situation. And yeah, whenever even invited, and it's been actually a couple years since I was invited out on the lake, but like especially if I know that they're going to be drinking, I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. But yeah, that's just because it's not the lifestyle I'm looking to live anymore. And if people want to keep drinking, that's fine. I mean, I have no judgment. And yeah, Sylvan Lake, absolutely. Been out to the fireworks to that one. It's been a while, and haven't been to Crystal Lake. Is that over by Sylvan? Um, but yeah, for sure, like Union Lake, that was a go-to place. And of course, up north, Michigan is popular. But yeah, liquor stores on every corner. I don't know if it's like that in other states or whatever, but yeah, here for sure. But yeah, having a plan of action would be the number one. Thinking about how each drink makes you feel, staying connected. That's kind of why I formed this group. Uh, I get on here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10. It's been going for about 3 weeks, and I'm planning on doing it like right at the same time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10, because I want to build a community here and eventually not do these like vertical. This is all showing up in the shorts feeds. I'm really hoping to do like a horizontal one, and I'm doing this all on my phone, but um, it's harder to find when it's on the horizontal setting. I tried one once a couple weeks ago. It was like the second week or third week that I was doing these, and it didn't get any views. So I just don't think it's found as easily as it is vertically. And maybe sometimes my subscribers aren't on, at 10 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So this works for now. But yeah, my goal here is to build this community up, meet so we can talk about what happens this in particular this weekend, and have a plan of action. Know that there's a group, community. I've got a sober group on Facebook. It's a private group. It's called Sobriety in the Storm. You're welcome to join it. I've got the links pinned in all of my videos. So if you subscribed and you just check out one of my videos, it's in the comment section. Um, yeah, I haven't been to that one in years. The Detroit fireworks, man. Ever since I went to that one, uh, and we sat at Hart Plaza, and that was like 25 years ago. Um, but yeah, you could feel the shrapnel coming down from the fireworks exploding and hitting you in the face. I mean, you were like right there. The ground was shaking, and whenever I went to any other fireworks after that, I was like so disappointed. So I don't go to too many anymore. But actually, I've taken to kind of a liking to doing fireworks, not big ones, but like fireworks in our backyard. And that was something that I didn't do as a drinker at all very much, just because I was always wasted uh, during the whole Fourth of July, and I didn't want to go out there and light fireworks while I was hammered, especially having kids and stuff around. So I definitely awesome. I'm glad that you're going to join on. I haven't seen too many other people frequent on here, but if we can get like a little community going, that'd be sweet. Just kind of back and forth going about our weekends. You got any plans this weekend, TNT? What are you up to this weekend? So yeah, so I'm going over to my mom's. We're doing a little. She's got a little pool, and we're going to celebrate my daughter's birthday. And yeah, that would have normally been a day where I'd take like a 12 pack of beer over there, or maybe not 12, maybe like four, and drink those. Maybe like four light beers, and because if I'd have to drive back home, which it's only like a 10-minute ride, but yeah, 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 I wouldn't go down there now. I'm glad I did that when I was younger and experienced that because man, that was like a once in a lifetime uh, thing for me. Way we just kind of just made our way down there and just walked all the way down and sat down, even though it was crowded. We found a spot on the ground. There was like six of us there, and yeah, we just hung out there. But yeah, and then I tried. I bought tickets behind home plate for a Tiger game a year or two after that, and I wanted to see what the fireworks were going to be like. Looking at it, looking at the Detroit River from behind home plate at Comerica, and it was disappointing. I mean, especially like I said, being at Hart Plaza when it. I mean, you're like right in the middle of it, and then I didn't realize how far away it was going to feel, and then like the fireworks were kind of like lighting up, uh, not all going over like the building, like the skyline, so you couldn't see all of them, and it wasn't real loud or anything. So yeah, it was kind of I was disappointed with that, um, but that's fine. I mean, they have fireworks on Friday nights at Comerica, and we might head down there and do one of those Friday night ones. Yeah, Canada too. Yep. And that was another thing. I used to go to Canada a lot. Did you ever go to Canada? Man, that was actually I can't believe they just let you in the 90s when I turned 19. Man, they would just let you in like whatever. Come on in. You just answer a couple questions like, yeah, we're going to the casino, or yeah, we're going shopping, or whatever. They let you right in, and then you drink a lot, party all night, drive back in the United States is like, oh yeah, come back, there you go. And that's actually when I got my DUI. So I was down there probably a half dozen times when I turned 19, and then I was about to turn 20, and I drove back from Canada wasted and got pulled over just like a couple blocks away from my house. And that really changed a lot of things for me, especially in terms of drinking and driving. I never wanted to get caught drinking and driving ever again because it really just the things that I had to do to get through that year, uh, the legal things, all the money, going to AA every week, or in my case, they give you the choice of doing Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous, and I found a group of NA, Narcotics Anonymous, that was a little more interesting than the AA meetings were. So I pretty much went to that every week all year until I went up to college, and then I ended up finishing out up there the last like month or so, going to an AA meeting. But the AA meetings were depressing. I was still drinking through all that. I gave up pot during that time, and I never went back. And but that was kind of a blessing. And then when I did go back to weed, it didn't sit well with me. So I'd have heart palpitations and anxiety and stuff. So it wasn't really it just didn't work for me anymore. So that was really when I was all in on alcohol, and just like, you know what, this is my drug of choice. But yeah, coming back from Canada and trying to go back to Canada now, it's like, um, yeah, yeah. I don't know what it's like going to Canada now, but like I said, I tried to go back in there a couple times after that DUI, and they wouldn't let me in. Um, so yeah, I think it was just I think a DUI in Canada is a felony, so that you have to do like a class over there. Um, there every weekend, yeah. I wasn't there every weekend, but I was there a lot. At least probably once a month or so, like I said, and uh, it happened like a couple months before, like a month before my 20th birthday, that I got that DUI. And but yeah, they don't let you back in there unless you do like a class. So if you ever got a DUI or anything like that, yeah, you can't even get back in unless you do. I think you pay you pay like a $225 class, take that, and then they'll, I think they let you back in with like a reinstatement thing, type of thing. But I've never had any real reason to go back to Canada. I think like back in the day, the exchange rates in Canada were really good. You could take your US dollars over to Canada and you'd get like $30 for your $20 over there. So like going to the casino or shopping um, was a better deal if you had American dollars. But I think it's pretty leveled out now, pretty even. So I don't really see any real benefit to going over to Windsor. I guess there'd be a couple places I'd like to visit someday, but there's tons of places in the United States that I haven't been to that I'd like to visit someday. Um, first, anyway. So, but yeah, there's definitely some nice places in Canada that I would like to see someday. So maybe I'll have to take that class. You would think they'd forget about it after 30 years, but no. It's just it's permanently on there. Um, and I actually heard that that Michigan was going to expunge the DUIs from people's records. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, um, but I haven't heard anything from that. I don't really care, I guess, is the thing, but um, if it's on there or not. But I don't. I still don't think that means Canada forgets. But yeah, it's not something that I think about or worry about anymore. But as a drinker, it really did help me to honestly, it was like a blessing in disguise to get that DUI, because I was able to go through that year of, paying off whatever I had to, all the debts that I incurred just from that one occasion, getting caught drinking and driving. Quebec, yeah, that looks nice. To get through that, and yeah, not ever want to get caught doing that again. So I mean, I didn't always drink and drive. Um, Sometimes I would, like I said, I'd have a couple drinks or whatever and let it wear off or whatever. But I didn't. I was pretty strict about not drinking and driving, pretty much. And but yeah, I guess to get back to topic, I was only planning on going 30 minutes here. We're up to 34. Um, so a few recommendations for anybody that's watching, that's wanting to get sober and not able to, but really wants to. Make a plan. Think about how you're feeling after you're drinking. Check in with your group. Check in with your sober community. Like I said, I've got Facebook group Sobriety in the Storm. You can check that out. The link is pinned in all my videos in the comment section. And you still have a record in Oakland County? Oh man, yeah. I think those things hang on, but I don't know. I heard that they were going to expunge a lot of those misdemeanors and stuff. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything on that. If you've heard anything, let me know. But I'll definitely look it up and see if they move forward on that plan. But yeah, and then just check in with your group. Don't try to do sobriety with willpower. It doesn't work. Check in with your group. If you have a therapist, if you have a spouse, if you have a friend, anybody that you can contact when you're having an urge to drink, that is key, because the urge doesn't last very long. I found that it might last 5 minutes, it might last an hour, but eventually it goes away. But if you have plans in place, um, uh, you can turn to those resources, tools, and once go back to your thoughts about alcohol, your urge to drink kind of dissipates. It goes away. At least that's what I found, and then you're kind of stronger for the next urge to drink. And but trying to do it alone, which is what I tried to do for so long, it never worked. I don't think that works at all. So yeah, and then of course the regular coping mechanisms, go for a hike, go whatever you enjoy doing, read a book, uh, whatever you enjoy doing. But when that witching hour comes, have a plan on what you're going to do instead of drink, and do that. And then and then once you come back to that situation, you'll find that maybe that you're not thinking about alcohol anymore. So um, well, I wish you well, TNT. I hope you're able to get that taken care of. I know it's hard to sometimes when you get stuck in those legal things. So I wish you well. Praying for you and everybody on here. I'm so glad that you guys joined me. Um, take solace in the fact that you're doing something about this, and it was really great talking with all of you. So I hope you have a great sober day. We'll see you back here Monday at 10 o'clock, and we'll talk to you then. Have a great weekend, everybody. And if you need anything, don't be afraid to reach out either on YouTube or on my Facebook group. Talk to you soon.